Hello, gorgeous miracles. This is Alyssa Rushton with another episode of Magic and Miracles. Today, we're going to talk about relationships as we move into March and April. And I wanted to make this special episode for you today because there's a lot happening in the stars that is working on you and your relationships. So this is going to be really, I think, informative episode so that you can kind of dig in underneath of what's been happening in your world. When you can bring even more consciousness to something, you can alchemize it and you can really work with it. So today we're going to talk about friendships, soul contracts, twin flame relationships, and also marriage and partnerships. As you know, I don't really get into the astrology or astrobabble of things because I personally, while I love astrology, I tend to find it distracting a little bit. So as an energy intuitive, one of the things I love to do is kind of dig in underneath the astrology and look at what's really going on. So I first want to talk about your regular everyday friendships and relationships. What is happening underneath the surface there? So if you're listening to this, odds are one of two things is happening for you. You're either feeling like your friendship group, many of them, isn't growing with you, or you have noticed that your friendship group felt out of alignment and wasn't growing with you. And so you've kind of hit the pause button on many relationships, and you might be currently going through a really big void in your life when it comes to friendships. So one of the reasons why this is happening is because in our lifetime, we all go through learnings at different rates and paces. And while you might have heard of you have a soul group that you go through life with, I would argue that we are all one big soul group here on the planet, and that we're all here together doing it at this time. To think that you are going to only go through life with one pod of people, I sort of laugh at that because as a near-death survivor, I got to kind of go up into bigger consciousness to understand where we really are all one thing. That means that at times you're going to go through life and you're going to have gone through such an extraordinary period of growth that the people in your life, it can feel like they might not be growing with you. They might not be the people who you feel like you can grow with or the people who can challenge you. They might even feel like they're holding you back in some sense, or that their values don't resonate with you any longer. And this is a really big one because we've just been through a really long time of reevaluating our values. My sense is that you have really taken the opportunity to reevaluate your values, and you might have some friends in your friendship group who are still waiting to do that. Meaning that it's not that they're not going to do it. It's just that they're maybe taking a little longer on the cycle. So I think one of the things that's really important to remember is that as you shift, people in your life will shift. They'll either, I call this vibrating in or vibrating out. They'll either vibrate with you in or they'll vibrate out away from you. And neither one is good or bad. What I think is really helpful is to still hold that person with a lot of love. And when you think about them in your mind's eye, to always send them blessings and love and never tear down their energy in any way. Meaning that it's very common when we are not resonating with somebody else to want to blame that on them somehow, or want to blame how they're showing up, or place something in their energy field that I call an energetic teardown. It actually works against them. So if this is you, if you feel like there's a bunch of people in your life, or maybe it's just two people in your life that are in your friendship group that really, they are doing the work, but they may be slower than you were with doing it, and they're not in resonance with you right now, it's okay to take the pause. It's okay to even be complete with that friendship. It's okay to not even need a conversation about it. Oftentimes, especially, I notice this is different with women versus men, where as women will want to have a conversation about it. They'll want to talk to you and tell you why they don't want to talk to you anymore. Where men will simply just not talk to you anymore. Like men who are buddies with other men, they just simply won't text each other or talk for a period of time. So this is a time when you are realigning with friends, when you're really taking a solid look at who is with you on this next leg, who's going to travel with you on this next leg of the journey, who is supporting your growth and evolution, or on the other hand, who feels like they're maybe the friend that says, oh, I want to eat cake with you. And the cake doesn't taste as good unless I'm eating it with you. And you feel compelled to eat the cake with your friend, but you know that cake is not in your best service. So it's the friends that they don't mean to try to drag you down. They just want to keep you with them. Right? They want to keep you with them where they're at, and that makes them feel comfortable. And you might be in a place where that doesn't feel comfortable. So there's a part of this where your energy is being asked to remain really strong in your now values. Whereas in the past, you might have said, yes, friend, I'll go eat cake with you. And now you can just simply know that you don't have to eat cake and you could still hang around the friend. And at the same time, your energy might not be best served hanging around that person. You might be best served sending them love from afar. This is an astrological time of when you're being supported to do this, when this is naturally happening in the planets. It's been happening for the last, since November of 2021. You've been probably reevaluating these friendships. And now you're probably at a place, like I said, where you either have a really big void in your life where you've sort of stripped yourself down, or you're to that place where you're really coming to the understanding that you do need to strip yourself down. Either way you go, the universe loves a void and it will fill this void with new people. And one thing that I find really beneficial is for you to say to the universe, I'd love for you to match me up with people in my now energy that are going to support my growth and evolution, and that I can support their growth and evolution on this next leg of the journey. The universe is really amazing, especially now, of responding very swiftly to your requests. Now, the same thing with relationships can be happening in business. You might have been in a place in business where you've been lone wolfing it and you realize that does not work for you. You've been in a relationship with you, or maybe you and your assistant or your team, and you understand that the new way of doing business is going to require you to be in more community, to be in more connection, to be in more collaboration. So this is also working on you at a business level for those of you who have businesses. So also, if that's you, if you're listening to this and you have a business, do be sure to ask the universe for some amazing collaborations and connections to come in. An exercise I find really effective is to radiate your energy out in the morning. Imagine the people that you'd love to be in connection with and see your energy getting as big and bright so that those connections can see you. And just expand your energy field out. Let's talk about twin flame connections, because this is something that I find is really going on right now. Whether or not you believe in the twin flame connection, I'm not sure I do, by the way. It's the relationship where you really do kind of share so many of the same aspects and you push each other to grow. It's less of a soulmate connection, where a soulmate is just kind of, it's easy, it's breezy, or let's say it's easier, it's breezier, but a twin flame is always mirroring you in a very particular way that a soulmate connection necessarily wouldn't. Some of you might even feel like you have multiple twin flames. They might be a twin flame in a friendship group. They might be a twin flame in a parent-child relationship, but it's a mirroring in a very specific way. And it's oftentimes in a direct opposite way that you are. So for example, you could have a twin flame who is really outgoing and you're not outgoing at all. And it challenges you and expands you to be more outgoing. And it challenges your twin flame to be a better listener, right? So these are some of the twin flame connections. Now, if you believe in this twin flame connection sort of thing, one of the core wounds of the twin flame that just is in the energy field of it is not being able to be together or have what you want in this lifetime. There is a deep wound, and we could spend a lot of time talking about where that comes from. But for today, let's just talk about this particular wound. So right now in the energy field with a twin flame connection, if you are in a twin flame connection, just know that this wound is really up for you to heal. What's being asked to be healed for most of you is the idea or the notion that you can't have what you want, or that you can't be with who you want to be in the way that you would want to be with them. And so there is quite a bit of work to be done around this. Most of the work is reminding yourself that you're not on this old timeline where all this nonsense happens, that you're on a new, now healing timeline where you don't have to repeat the cycles and wounds of the past, where you are a divine creator of your life and that you can create something much, much, much different. And ask the universe once again to help you heal, clear, and transmute any places and spaces where in your energy system you might feel as if you can't have what you want, or you can't be with who you want to be with in the way that you want to be with them. And simply let it be that easy. Healing can actually be quite easy, and it can also be quite fast if we let it. And so with this new now energy of the universe, I really have been finding that the more you just simply get into the vibrational frequency with the universe, that you are connected to all that is. It's a part of you. It's not separate from you. And that you can just simply ask the all that isness to align you with what it is that you want. So that's what's happening with the twin flames, is this old gnarly wound of being separated and not being able to be with your person, or, maybe they have to be over here and you have to be over there. All of that's getting a nice healing. And for some of you in the twin flame connection, what you might be healing is a aspect of you that has felt really good on your own, that feels like, no, I don't want anybody in my life in this way, that no, I'm fine. And healing that aspect of the self that really a long time ago decided that being a lone wolf was the way to handle the wounding. And so clearing some of that from your energy field, clearing some of that abandonment issues, but dealing with it in the way that you were stronger than anything else and that you could just be alone and it would just be fine. Clearing some of that from your energy field so that you can be more in connection and communication with your person. Twin flame connections are typically here to anchor in more unconditional love on the planet. So as you are doing this, one of the biggest things you're doing is anchoring in unconditional love for yourself and your twin flame as it happens. As you are up-leveling yourself, remember, again, any work that you're doing on yourself, it is affecting the relationships around you. It's affecting the people around you. And oftentimes you'll even find as you do the inner work that your people in your world shift and change, and it looks as if they're really being very different people, but it's really you that's changed, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, now let's talk about the soulmate connection, the soul contract connection, where you're in partnership with somebody. There is a significant amount of people on the planet right now who are in a partnership with someone, and you actually know without a shadow of a doubt at this time that you're complete, that your soul contract is complete, what you were there to learn is complete, that your karma is complete, whatever you might call it, that you feel really complete. And so if that's you at this time, you might very well be navigating some of the pre-work of getting a divorce or going through a separation. Gosh, if I could just share anything with you, it would just be to let it be okay. One of the things that you're working against in your world is this notion that you're supposed to be with somebody ever since you make the commitment to be with them till death do you part. And I would guide you to know that that's a very human construct, and it's from even recent history. Whereas if you look at it on a soul level, if you were to pop up from the perspective of the soul to think about how many partnerships you've had at the soul level, it would blow your mind. So in the human body vehicle, which you now operate, I personally think it's a bit destructive to tell people that they should only have the one relationship. Once they sign the paperwork, that's it. It's a belief that's based in religious terms. And it's, we won't get into all the hows and the whys, but I personally don't think this belief serves many people, because if this is happening to you, my sense is that you picked your person probably when you were in your 20s or early 30s, and now you're at a place, well, you might even be in your 50s by now. You're raising kids together, or maybe you didn't ever have kids, but regardless, you've done enough growing where you and your person didn't grow together. And truth be told, you didn't really know who you were when you picked your person. You didn't certainly have the set of criteria that you would now have if you were picking a person. And so it makes it really difficult when you look at your life and who you are now in your now energy, and you look at the person who you are living your daily life with, and you think, gosh, I actually wouldn't pick this person to live with if I were picking them now. And so one of the things I think is the most beneficial to your energy system is to let yourself off the hook, is to just tell yourself it's okay. You are living in a set of rules based on people that came before you that were really making their rules for variety of different reasons, none of them that really served the soul and your human growth and evolution. And so it's okay to let yourself out of a contract and to let the other person out of the contract as well. And I say contract because for many of you, you are married, you're in a contract with a person, there's assets to divide up. It's not an easy process that's happening right now, and you're having to make a lot of really tough decisions. But what happens on the other side of this contract breaking? And by the way, this is also true for friendships as well. Something really, a magical alchemy happens when you split your energy apart from someone, is that all of a sudden you both can grow in new trajectories and new directions. And I'm literally seeing two plants that have been intertwined together. They're all tangled up. The growth has been stifled, and the gardener comes in, separates the plants, puts them into different pots, and now they can both grow in these beautiful directions and really blossom and grow and sprout in new ways. And so that's what really happens when you allow yourself to break apart some of your energy, to pull off, be split apart from the entanglements. And then what's really amazing, after you split your energy off and you're planted, so to speak, in your own pot or in your own place of the ground, is that when you get into new relationships, you actually are stronger in your energy field, and you don't make the same mistake, so to speak, of allowing somebody else to be planted in your pot. Not necessarily to not come together with some person. You're still going to come together with people, but you're going to do it in ways that are not as codependent. You're going to do it in ways that are self-sufficient. You're going to do it in ways that are of sovereign beings. How sovereign beings come together in partnership, how sovereign beings come together in friendship, how sovereign beings come together in a twin flame relationship. It's much different than how an unhealed person comes together in a codependency relationship. And that's really what's underlying the whole time you're going through right now. It's the underpinnings of this time, is you're unplugging from relationships that were founded in codependency, that were founded in more unconsciousness, and you're bridging the gap. You're creating voids so that you can have relationships that are really based in sovereignty, based in beautiful, benefic, loving energy of support, of understanding, of mutual growth, mutual respect, and all of these wonderful feelings and things that maybe weren't in your energy field before. And certainly you weren't making choices for friendships and lovers and husbands and wives and partners in this same way. So that is the energy of this time. If you are going through a separation, whether it is the love of your life or a friend that was the love of your life, know that you can still miss somebody, and also know that you two aren't good for each other at this time, or it isn't in your highest soul's growth plan at this time, you can still send someone love and blessings and best wishes, even if you're not speaking every day, or even if you're not talking to them anymore. You can still be a positive force for somebody's energy field and not tear down their energy, even when you're going through a divorce, even when you're going through a separation. You can still choose to do it in as much love as you had when you got together. And so I'm going to close this episode out with this little antidote. You know, when you meet that friend and you just fall in love with them in a moment, or you meet that person and you just fall in love with them, that love is something that you can tap into as you're in separation. You can tap back into that love and separate with the same frequency of love in your heart for them as you once held. There is this weird belief or program, if you will, that says that we have to be angry or mad, or it's got to be somebody's fault that we're separating, that we're not friends anymore, that we're not lovers or, married partners. That doesn't have to be true. It can be true that you came together for a time for healing, growth, and evolution. And now it's your time to split off into your own sovereignty and explore something else that's for your healing, growth, and evolution. Okay, gorgeous friend. Well, I hope you have found this episode really positive and uplifting to your energy field. If you know somebody who's going through this right now, please share this video with them. And as always, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, a comment, because it helps us and the channel. And until next week, thank you for your light and thank you for the miracle that you are. Bye for now.